Everyone, back to Pete's Investing Updates. We review the weekly progress of some blue chip stocks from across Australia, the US and Europe. We update these on the weekend from the previous week. This week's summary, we're looking at all the stocks remain flat or trending flat with some minor ups and downs. We'll go through each of those for each of our videos. If you want me to review a share price, put it in the comments and I'll cover it in a future video. As always, click the subscribe button, the notification bell, and like the video to support the channel. First, let's review the playlists, and this is where we review our share prices each week, and this is where this week's video would belong. We also review some indices each week, and we've also got our strategy playlist, and that's where you can refer to our simple trading strategy, the Averagedown process, and some money management ideas. But as always, don't forget, this is not offering financial advice. We're simply providing some educational guidance for you to invest. So let's first off go to our summary table of results for the shares we're looking at. And again, we're looking at shares from Australia, Commonwealth Bank of Australia, BHP, from Europe, Volkswagen and Telefonica, and from the US, JPMorgan, Johnson & Johnson and Caterpillar. Here we're showing the codes for each of those and which share market they belong to, and also the dividend yields and the ex-dividend dates of when you should be holding them to get payment. This shows the currency in terms of the profitability for buying and selling. That's in Australian dollars, that's in euro, and that's in US dollars. But this bottom line is just simply a dollar amount. Let's call it an index amount of the sum of all those. And it just shows the % return of the buy and sell strategy versus the profitability return. In other words, you just buy the stock and hold it without selling it. This one follows our strategy for buying and selling. And this just shows the maximum drawdown from the highest high to the lowest low in terms of our profitability and how much that's gone into our savings at any one of those points. And this just summarizes on a monthly basis, on average, what the revenue is. Simply that divided by 17 months, which is about $430 odd in returns. And again, we're looking at a 15-minute chart over a rolling 17-month period. So let's look at that in a bit more detail. Let's look at the Commonwealth Bank first. So this is the 17-month horizon, and we're looking at a 15-minute chart for the Commonwealth Bank. Here we're trading $2,000 worth of buying and selling, and each of these steps or blocks refers to the number of shares we've bought, equivalent to $2,000 worth. And where you see a step like this or like that, it means we've averaged down. So in this example, we bought initially at this point here, just 30 shares of Commonwealth Bank. The price dropped a bit and it met our criteria, and we bought another 34 shares. So we got there 29 shares there, and that brings us a total of another 63 shares. So it's basically 29.87 plus 33.98. So we'll just summarize, just round it up to 30 shares and 34 shares. That's where we bought, averaged down, and then we sold out. You can see there the profitability at that point. This is our baseline of 100,000. Our profitability was 207 from $100,000 baseline. We started at 160, so we made about $40 odd, and that includes brokerage. So brokerage has been factored into that. Each of these single blocks represents buying and selling without averaging down. So in this case, we bought, in that example, we bought 29, if we round it up, 29 shares. We bought it there with an opening profitability of 309. We sold it, and we made there 342. So I made about $30 odd. So again, that factors in, includes brokerage in that. So where we are today in terms of the previous week past for the Commonwealth Bank, it started up, gapped up for the start of the week, but then it trended down and pretty much finished where it finished off last week. So it pretty much went sideways for the week compared to the previous week. As you can see there, it's been held now. We bought there initially 20 odd shares on the 10th of June, and it's been trending down since. So we haven't actually sold out. We're still holding on to that position. with BHP Australia. Let's first look at the 17-month horizon. So you can see there we had a couple of trades of averaging down at that point there. A couple of single trades, buying and selling, buying and selling. This one we bought. It trended down a bit, and we bought more there, averaged down. We ended up selling out at that point. A couple of single trades there, and here we ended up buying 40 shares there. And it's gone sideways, and it's gone up above our profitability level. So you can see there the profitability is 991. We started off at a base of 901, so about $90 odd of profit made so far on that one. Volkswagen. And again, this has gone quite nicely back here after the pandemic started, well, in 2021, after the new year, it rose quite sharply. It's been going flat since. So most of last year, it's been pretty much flat. This year, likewise. And here we've held our positions 7 shares at this point, 14th of June. We averaged down another 7 shares there, and hasn't closed out yet. Next, we look at Telefonica. Look at the 17-month horizon. Again, this has been a bit of a roller coaster ride. We bought initially 494 shares there. Averaged down, bought another 581. Averaged down again, 665. And lastly there at 774. You can see there it started a profitability at 396. And after that trade over a few months, we ended up selling out and closing it at 662. So about $300 odd we made on that trade in those few months. Some single transactional shares here have been traded. One average down here. And we're currently still open with this 500 shares bought back in 23rd of June. But it's been trending down since. You can see there that just also to highlight the profitability of the buy and sell strategies, 1145 versus 137 for the buy and hold. In other words, the buy and hold, we don't sell out, we just hold it. It just shows you the difference. And those numbers are reflected on in our table. So for Telefonica, you can see there, 1146 for 137. I'll come back to the table for profitability in a few minutes. Next, we look at JPMorgan. So again, this was held out, and then we fell below 100,000 profitability level at that point there. After the pandemic opened up, so we ended up buying shares at the peak there. It fell down. We averaged down again, buying another 21 shares there. Held it until it closed out there. As you can see there, from opening of 0, after we sold out there, we made $263 for those months after the pandemic, or buying before the pandemic and closing it out a year later. In terms of the previous week past, you can see there it opened up on the 10th of July. It rose up, and we're still holding that position, and it's dropped below our buy position at the moment. So let's just see where that goes in the coming days and possibly weeks. Johnson & Johnson, one of the vaccine companies that we're looking at. And again, we did a video on vaccine companies a couple of months ago, just comparing to see if there's any trend between vaccine companies in the market. But here we're tracking Johnson & Johnson on a weekly basis. And you can see there we've been holding it now since the 14th of May. And it still hasn't closed out. But it's coming close to our buy level. We'll keep an eye on that. This past week, you can see there it's been going sideways, like most other companies have this week. Lastly, Caterpillar. look at the long-term view first, the 18-month period, 17, 18 month. This is at a nice steady rise for most of last year and the start of this year. And it's had a bit of fall from grace since June. It's fallen back to the support level and it's been going sideways since. Now it's averaged, we bought in our latest trades, we bought initially 8 shares back here in 15th of May. It dropped off and we averaged down and bought another 9 shares here on the 1st of July, and we're still holding it. So that's where we are now. Now looking at our profitability again, as you can see, the buy and sell strategy is producing, over the 17-month period, is producing 69.60, and that again is a mixture of Aussie dollars, US dollars and euro. It shows you the percent return on the buy and sell strategy versus the profitability on buy and hold. In other words, we haven't sold any. And it just shows you the difference in terms of revenue. And also our monthly revenue on average, which is simply that number divided by 17. Okay, don't forget also to hit the subscribe button, the like button and notification bell to get notified of these videos. And I'll speak to you in next week's video. Thank you.